FM, Abuja.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Citizen FM News at noon. I am Lawrence Umoite. President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated the National Economic Council with a promise to sustain the nation's economy. Addressing governors, President Tinubu urged the council to join forces to support his administration towards transforming the nation's economy.
We continue to transform our nation's fortunes and bring about unprecedented development through good governance. We are committed to sustainable initiatives and programs that will stimulate the rejuvenation of the economy without causing inflation. Collaboration is not a crime. Please let us do so. It is also evident that the task of growing our economy is quite enormous, but you and I ask for it. We can pray for it. We even dance for it. We beg for it. So we have no reason to complain.
Speaking to State House correspondents after the briefing, the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, who was flanked by 4 of his colleagues, said the council also discussed the possibility of obtaining funds from the World Bank and London partners.
And 2 billion plus was suggested as an allowance for the cost of living adjustment allowance by the organized labor. And the other one is the petroleum allowance. And that of petroleum, they said, will range from 23.5 billion to 45 billion per month, depending on what is in the kitty.
It's a 750 million USD from the World Bank, and it has commenced a long time ago. And some of the recommendations that were made include the state cares platforms have a strong capacity to handle the implementation of palliatives to the new and existing poor and vulnerable individuals.
It is estimated that if we give legislative support to these companies, that about 1 million jobs from the 50,000 jobs that exist in that industry would be created.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has met with the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, at the presidential villa in Abuja. This is coming barely 48 hours after the duo earlier met at the seat of power, hours after Akpabio's emergence as the Senate President.
The Parliament on resumption will also lend our voice to what we have seen so far. He has taken the right steps. The stock market is rising, and a lot of people are very excited with the steps he has taken so far. And we are also very happy. And there's renewed hope, not just in terms of the economy, but in terms of the stability of the country.
2 days after losing the Senate presidency to Senator Godswill Akpabio, former Zamfara State Governor Abdulaziz Yari has alleged betrayal by some of his colleagues. Speaking during an interview in Abuja, Yari claimed his permutation as at 3 a.m. on Tuesday morning showed that he would get at least 61 out of the 109 votes available, which would have been enough to see him coast to victory.
Yes, I can say that there's a betrayal. That's the truth. Because as we're taking stock as at 3 a.m. Monday, Tuesday election, we took stock of over 76. But as usual, human being, we thought that we are going to get a pollout of about 15, which will have a comfortable 61 to win the election. But it's become the reverse, which is only God knows what happened. So with that one, I feel betrayed. But life continues, and it's a cycle. As a Muslim, I believe in faith. God had decided who would be the president of the Senate 10th Assembly, and I have no reason not to accept what God had decided for us. I gave the Senate President assurance that we are going to work together as a team to protect that institution that where we are today. And also, I had a lunch discussion with my people. 46 of us, but unfortunately about 49 are feared. So we are wondering from where 3 came from. So I told them that the tasks ahead of us want to come together. 3, to support the leadership so that Nigeria can grow better.
Former military head of state Abdul Salami Abubakar has visited President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja. Both leaders moved to the president's office for a meeting after exchanging pleasantries. The former head of state, after this, spoke to State House correspondents.
Nigeria is enough for everybody. So let us try to be each other's keeper and also put our own hands on deck to move the country forward. You know, this subsidy issue has been on and off and so on. But Mr. President has taken a decision to remove it, and I hope we'll all see how to help him.
The 14th Emir of Kano and former Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, was also at the presidential villa to meet with the president. Sanusi's visit, which is the first since the president assumed office, comes barely 1 week after the president suspended Godwin Emefiele as the CBN governor.
To thank him for the steps he has taken to put this economy on course. As you know, many of the issues that we have been talking about, the subsidy that has caused a hemorrhage on the fiscus, the multiple exchange rate regimes, and so on. These are issues that I have personally been talking about for a long time, and I'm happy that on his very first day, he has addressed these issues, and the markets are happy. And it is important when the government does the right thing.
Away from the villa, Kwara State government has announced plans for a legislation that will impose punishments and fines for violations of safety protocols on water travels in the state. The proposed legislation will be sent to the parliament, according to the governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, during a condolence visit to families of victims of last Monday's boat accident disaster, which claimed about 106 lives.
Event. Measures will be taking place. We'll be having discussions with NEWA to encourage them on enforcement of safety codes. And we also will be sending a team to Lagos State to see how the Lagos State laws work.
The police in Kano State have confirmed that remnants of the demolished buildings in Kano metropolis trapped some scavengers at Douala Hotel and the Eid Praying Ground. Spokesman of the Kano State Police Command, SP Abdullahi Haruna, reported that 106 suspects were arrested for criminal offenses of trespass, mischief, and theft.
Unfortunately, it's not well because still here we had a collapse because of the works of scavengers again. Had it been they are out of sight, they are not operating the way they would, casualties like this wouldn't have happened, incidences like this wouldn't have happened. As directed by His Excellency, the Executive Governor, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, that the Commissioner of Police should handle all the security as I explained it earlier, which they are doing their best.
And on the foreign scene, 7 African leaders are traveling to Ukraine and Russia on a peace mission, hoping to bring the war there close to an end. But the timing of the visit seems off. It comes just as Kiev is launching its much-vaunted counter-offensive. The mission is an unusual burst of activism given Africa's largely hands-off approach to a conflict that many years see primarily really as a confrontation between Russia and the West. Several NATO member states have pledged new weapons and ongoing support for Ukraine at a meeting of the military's alliance defense ministers in Brussels, Germany, in Belgium. Secretary General said NATO military aid to Ukraine is making a difference on the battlefield.
Praying with the urgent capabilities that it needs to meet this moment, as well as what it needs to keep itself secure for the long term from Russian aggression. And make no mistake, we will stand with Ukraine.
And for some sports stories now, Napoli striker Victor Osimhen says the Super Eagles camp is taking the 2023 AFCON qualifiers against Sierra Leone very seriously. Victor Osimhen, who spoke in Abuja, said there is a deliberate move to boost Nigeria's hope of getting a positive result to seal qualification for the 2023 African Cup of Nations tournament with one qualifying game to spare.
The game on Sunday is a huge one for us. We cannot write off Sierra Leone because we saw what Guinea-Bissau did to us in Abuja. They are also a good group. Sierra Leone is also a good group. They have quality individual players that can execute the job for them. But just like them also, we have great team. We have great players individually, collectively. We are good. The coach is also good with good strategy, and we want to play for Nigerians.
And as the Citizen FM News at noon, I am Lawrence Omoite.
Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this